Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today because we have some very exciting General Hospital news to talk about, and it's definitely worth the wait. Oh man, pull up a chair and let me tell you what's been rolling around in my head these past few days while I've been glued to General Hospital. You know how some mornings you wake up and the sky lights up real slow and pretty like the whole world is getting a fresh start? That's exactly how Jacinda Bracken came strolling into Port Charles. She slipped in quiet and bright, like the first soft light of dawn creeping over the harbor. At first glance, she looked sweet as pie, but something about her just don't sit right with me. I've seen enough dawns turn into stormy afternoons in my life to know you gotta watch close. I keep thinking about Willow. That poor girl has already had more than her share of heartache, and now she's looking at Jacinda with those worried eyes. I don't blame her one bit. Jacinda's running around acting all helpful and moral, but it feels a little too polished, like she's playing a part she rehearsed in front of the mirror. You ever meet somebody who smiles big, but their eyes stay cold? That's the feeling I get. My gut tells me Willow's concerns are dead on the money. We'll see if I'm right, but right now, I'm siding with Willow on this one. And Michael, bless that boy's heart. Rory Gibson is doing a fine job showing us a man who's completely smitten. Michael doesn't know the half of what's really going on with his new love. All he sees is this woman who's crazy about spiders of all things, who left her old life as a call girl because she fell for him. Sounds just like that old movie Pretty Woman, don't it? Michael out here playing Edward Lewis, riding in like a knight to save his Vivian Ward and give her a better life. I smiled real big when I caught that connection. It's romantic on the surface, sure, but life ain't always a fairy tale. I've known good men who thought they could erase a woman's past just by loving her hard enough. Sometimes it works. Sometimes that past comes knocking louder than you expect. The other afternoon, April 22nd, I was watching when Christina sat down with her daddy, Sonny Corinthos. Maurice Bernard still brings that perfect mix of tough and tender every single time. They were talking about Ethan Lovett. That Nathan Dean, fellow Sonny, just hired to help cover some of Jason Morgan's work while he's away. Sonny's trusting him with real responsibilities, and you know how that family is, trust don't come cheap. Ethan might turn out fine, but trusting new people in Port Charles is always a gamble. What really caught my ear was when the conversation shifted to Michael and Jacinda, Christina said some things that made fans raise their eyebrows, and I did too. She sounded a little doubtful, like she could see the same red flags I'm seeing. It made me lean forward in my chair. General Hospital has this way of dropping little hints that keep you wondering for days. One minute, you're rooting for love to win. The next, you're worried somebody's about to get their heart broken all over again. I've been watching this show longer than some folks have been alive, and it never fails to remind me how complicated people really are. We all walk around with our Sunday best on, but underneath there's usually a whole mess of stories we don't tell right away. Jacinda might be Michael's fresh start, his chance to be the hero, but I can't shake the feeling there's more to her than she's letting on. Maybe she really has changed. Maybe she truly loves him and wants to leave that old life behind. Or maybe she's got her own reasons for showing up when she did. Either way, I'm watching every scene like a hawk. You know what I love most about these stories? They make an old fella like me feel things. I sit here with my coffee, sometimes laughing, sometimes shaking my head, but always caring about these characters like they're my own neighbors down the street. It reminds me that second chances are beautiful, but they gotta be earned. Trust is fragile, especially when someone new walks in looking too perfect. And family, well, the Corinthos family shows us every single day that love and loyalty get tested over and over. I can't wait to see what happens next. Will Jacinda prove me wrong and turn out to be the real, honest woman Michael thinks she is? Or will those pretty dawn clouds roll in and bring trouble? Will Willow's worries be proven right? And how will Michael handle it when more of Jacinda's past comes to light? These are the questions that keep me coming back day after day. General Hospital's been part of my afternoons for years now, and it still surprises me. It shows us that life is messy, love is complicated, and nobody's story is simple. But that's what makes it feel so real. So tell me, Friend, you watching too? Are you trusting Jacinda right now, or are you right there with me and Willow keeping one eye open? I'd love to know your thoughts. These stories sure do give us plenty to talk about, don't they? They make the days brighter and keep this old heart young. I'll be right here tomorrow, same time, coffee in hand, ready for whatever Port Charles throws at us next. Now, I've been around long enough to know that when somebody says something that strong on this show, it usually means the writers are planting seeds for a big twist. Fans are already buzzing about it, and a lot of them think Christina might be dead wrong. She's so sure Jacinda is the real deal, straightforward and honest. But I'm starting to wonder if that's exactly what's going to come back to bite everybody. Willow's been acting uneasy for a reason, and I don't think she's just being jealous. That girl has been through fire. And now she's paying real close attention to where Jacinda has been and the kind of men she used to run with. Some folks are whispering about connections to Shiloh and that whole dark chapter. It makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Willow isn't letting it go. And every time she brings something up, I lean in closer because I feel like she's onto something big. Then there's that mysterious Delilah angle and the Dawn of Day tattoo Jacinda's got. When Willow mentioned Dawn of Day the other day, my ears perked right up. It didn't feel like a random comment. Could that tattoo be more than just ink on her skin? Is it a clue to a past she's trying to keep hidden? I keep thinking about how people show up in Port Charles looking all shiny and new, but underneath there's usually layers. They don't want anybody peeling back too fast. I've seen this pattern before on the show. Remember how many times we thought somebody was one thing, only to find out they were carrying a whole suitcase full of secrets? Jacinda came in like a fresh sunrise, all bright and promising for Michael. She loves spiders, walked away from that old call girl life because of him, and lets him play the hero who saved her. It's romantic on the surface, just like Pretty Woman. Michael's out here feeling like Edward Lewis, giving his Vivian Ward a whole new world. But life in Port Charles rarely stays that simple. What if Jacinda really is hiding something that makes her more like Willow than Christina realizes? What if that exactly who she shows herself to be line turns out to be the biggest mistake Christina ever made? I sit here shaking my head because I want Michael to be happy. He deserves some peace after everything he's been through. But I also don't want to watch him get blindsided by a pretty smile and a carefully told story. The more I watch, the more I feel for Willow. She's not stirring up trouble for fun. She's protecting her family, her heart, and maybe even Michael in her own way. Every time she points out another detail about Jacinda's past, I find myself nodding along. Those Dawn of Day references keep floating in my mind. Is Jacinda connected to something darker than she's letting on? Is that tattoo a souvenir from a chapter she hopes stays buried? General Hospital does this to me every single week. It pulls me in like I'm sitting on the couch with old friends, worrying about their choices the same way I'd worry about my own kids or neighbors. I've lived through enough real-life mornings that started beautiful and turned stormy to know you can't always trust the first light you see. Sometimes the prettiest dawn hides the roughest day ahead. I keep coming back because these stories feel so much like real life. People show up claiming they've changed. They say all the right things. They make you want to believe them. But trust has to be earned, not just handed over because the story sounds good. Right now, I'm right there with Willow, keeping one eye open and waiting to see what else comes out about Jacinda. Tell me I'm not the only one feeling this way. Are you trusting Jacinda right now? Or are you, like me, hoping for the best but bracing for the kind of twist that makes you yell at the TV? I'll be right here tomorrow, same chair, same coffee, watching every scene and hoping Michael doesn't get his heart handed back to him in pieces. These Port Charles folks sure know how to keep an old fella like me hooked, don't they? They make the afternoons fly by and give us plenty to chew on long after the credits roll.